Hey guys, it's Chase Rowe here, and today I'm going to show you how I remade ETA by Aries. So I used the Reed pre-make and the original combined to make this version. So I took the guitars from the pre-make that Reed made, and then I took the verse from the original piece. Also, there was a cut to the original verse. So in the demo version, there's a little piece of the verse that's not in the original, and I thought that was sick, so I put that in as well. It's kind of a Frankenstein's monster of the actual song. So I'll get right into it and I'll show you guys what I used. So the first thing that I had was the guitar. The guitar was just cap on the first, and it just goes like this. Pretty much runs throughout the entire thing. So this is what it sounds like in the DAW. I try to make it sound super clean and fresh. So I doubled that up. One in the middle, two on the sides. The one in the middle was a bit more of a higher range, and the ones on the sides were a little bit more lower to give it that fullness. That's the top one. And these are the two that are separated on both sides. I'll quickly show you what I put on those. A little bit of reverb to turn down here, high and low cut, and then just a higher band at the top for the EQ, just to give it a little bit more presence. Alongside that is another guitar that runs underneath that kind of plays a melody. That's this one here. That's the guitar there. I'll show you what I put on that. Just a little bit of reverb as well. A little bit of this for some distortion. High and low cut, that's much tighter than the acoustic, because I wanted the acoustic to be a bit more wide, and I wanted this one to be a bit more fine, just in that top range. I don't know what that was meant to be. And a wider. I didn't do a dual track on that one. I just did the single and then just used the wider. So this is what it sounds like together. Okay, so then we get into the pre-chorus. Sounds like this. I created a bass from a guitar. I basically got it and then just tuned it down because I don't have a bass, and I didn't want to use the plugins because sometimes I just don't like the way that it sounds. It's a bit finicky. So I had a higher melody with the guitar, so I'll show you that one first. So something like this. The hi-hats is just a straight, like every two step. So it's an open hat there, and it leads in with a riser. And then I bring in the original acoustic guitars here. So that gives it a bit more wideness. This is what the bass sounded like in this section. So that's that there. That's pretty much that section. And then there's just a clap. So I'll show you that the hi-hats and the clap just look like this. It's pretty basic on that. So then we get into the chorus. This is what the chorus drums look like. So this is the hi-hat here. This is the 808. This is the kick, and that's the clap. So this is what the drums sound like entirely in the chorus. That's really all the pieces of the puzzle. So if I add in the guitars and the drums, this is what it sounds like in the chorus. I only just realized I was hanging onto my guitar for dear life, so I just dropped it then. In the other sections, like going into the next verse, he basically drops all the drums and just goes in with a clean guitar and brings in the kick just after. Then after that section, you can see here, it then goes into bringing the chorus drums in. Then after that, it goes back into the pre-chorus, then back into the chorus here, and then has the same patterns as it does in the last verse for this one, then goes back in pre-chorus, and then chorus again, with a little bit of an outro where it takes away everything else and has just these guitars running over the top. And I'll give you a quick overview of the vocals that I used. I basically just used one vocal throughout with pieces in between. That basically just gave it a bit more widening when it came to the choruses and some of the pre-choruses. This is what the vocals sounded like.
Send all your smoke, big pallet envelopes. Some city in the shade, got my winter coat on. So long.
So that's what the verses sound like, and when in the chorus it sounded like this.
Close, yeah, I told you the most. Let me fuck, sometimes you home. ETA, I don't know. Hit by fault, decline, I'm gone.
I'll show you the plugins that I used for that. I wouldn't completely do this verbatim. There is better ways to structure your vocals by inputting better plugins and better timing. I have not probably done them in the proper order, but this is what gave me that sound. Is I used first and foremost auto-tune. With the auto-tune, I had a retune of 35, humanized for 81. It was in soprano for some reason. It was in the key of F minor. Don't know what that was. I had a reverb on that was really low wet, really wide. I kind of turned it down a little bit because it's not so wet in the actual piece or either in the Reed pre-make. My compressor was set to pretty high. I wanted to squash it a little bit, get it a similar sound to Aries. The threshold was at about 26, ratio of 2.64, quick attack, quick release. This is what my EQ looked like. That was next. Kind of toned it down a little bit, the lower mids. In the mid 5000s, I took it down a little bit and I had a low cut just for that boominess. In the high mids, I then did another EQ for the high mids and the upper mids. Sorry, the low mids and the upper mids. I just took it down a little bit in both of those, carved off a little bit. The next thing was I put a saturator on and then just went to about 6,000 and then took it down a couple dB. Then next I had a EQ for the low mids, about 660 and 670, and I took that down a little bit again. I had a delay on it, that was at this tick, that dry, that input. I just wanted a slight bit of delay. I didn't want to like go too over the top with it because I am likely to do that sometimes. The next one I had was my Maximus for de-essing. I think I put it to a split band like this, and then I just took down the highs a little bit. So that's pretty much the whole piece. I'll leave links to the Reed pre-make and the original. Go listen to those, they're both fantastic. And I'll leave a link in the description for my remake, and you guys can go have a look at it there. Thanks for listening, guys, and I'll see you next time.
Send all your smoke, big pallet envelopes. Some city in the shade, got my winter coat on. So long, turn up your shoulder, bottom feeder, so